Hey, what's up? This is Ron here from Tier 1 Gaming, and who do we have here today?
My name is Rhett with Tier 1 Gaming. I did okay at the Las Vegas Ycs 3v3. I played Adagnister just to see if my opponents had the out for the big guy, and just to have enough flex spots to make sure I could play through a wide variety of decks, and overall performed really well.
All right, so let's see what you got then.
I got 3 copies of a Ycs Vegas. I wish I saw this card more. A lot of instances I was like, man, I could really use a starter. Then I played 3 copies of the best normal summon, Bakari Vegas. On summon, it searches a spell or trap. Not a lot of people people know this deck. They know to hit the field spell. So if you have a good enough hand, you search the field spell off fifth, and it's like, oh, this Imperm does nothing against this matchup now. That's the good Adagnisters. And I played 1 Doyon, 1 Gachatari, 1 Hayari, and then 1 Doshin Adagnister. They're all really good. I decided to max out on the special summons too, because it's not very easy for this deck to break boards from non-engine cards. So it's good to have free extenders to play past interrupts. This one is just a free special summon. It searches the fusion, but never comes up. This one special summons itself, and it contribute 1 other Cyberse to add this one from deck to hand, because my other Rotas do not search this. And this one is the one I search if I opened up Godly and would rather have the recursion than just making the board.
Right.
For other engines, in-engine cards, I played 3 I Meet You. I'll complain about this forever. The name in the OCG is When I First Met You, and I'm mad that it's not what it's called here. But this is pretty much just the Rota. It burns me, but typically that doesn't come up.
Pretty much is the best card out of your deck.
Yeah, and then here's the other copy of Sign Up Mining in my deck, but this one has a discard cost. I play other Cyber things that searches too, so it's probably the best 1-card starter, all things considered.
Yep, and that's all you need pretty much to start off, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you want to play against a 4K Adagnister? No one does. I played 2 copies of the Monster Reborn. I see a lot of people only play like 1 of it, or hell, I saw a couple lists that don't play either of it, and I think that's just crazy. This one has a graveyard effect that recurs good starters, and this one has the niche effect to help protect your monster from battle, and it's a lot undervalued, but it's really good. Someone had enough to out the arrival, protected by battle. Then oddly enough, I played 2 copies of the field spell. I just kept opening up hands where I have like 2 in hand and they do nothing. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna see it or I'm not gonna see it, you know?
Yeah, but you only needed it when you needed it. That's why it was a good ratio.
Yeah, I feel like the ratio I had for it was really solid, especially when you get your own Striker Dragon that's at 3. Then I played 3 Crossout. When you're playing as many interruptions as I am, you know, this card is cracked. And I kept getting nibbed and testing against one of my buddies without fail every game. So I was like, you know what? This is going in the main. I'm not going to deal with this all weekend.
Yeah, pretty much the nib wasn't even for you.
Yeah, but it felt very targeted. I'm not going to lie. Then 1 Call by the Grave. I needed a 40th card, and I was like, you know what? This makes sense. These things were crazy. Glad I played them. 1 copy of Terraforming. I could have played 3 field spells, but I elected to play this because I'm playing Thrust in the side deck. So going second, Thrust can search the field spell if they want to Ash or negate my Link 1. I liked it. Also deck thinned.
Yeah, I think I seen you play it once where you actually did search the field spell after you did do that. You thrust into Terraforming.
3 Book of Eclipse. I can clear board real fast with access code. I just need to flip everything face down, then not worry about the draw. I had one instance where I Book of Eclipse and he tried to Ash it, and I was like, cross out, call Ash.
It was that serious that you needed to cross out for that, huh?
It was. I don't think I was breaking that board without it. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Generically the best hand trap in the format, and it's just crazy. Even as a 6 card, busted.
Yeah.
Then I play 3 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being. It's really good against Cash Rogue matchups, and I wish I would have saw this card anytime in the last game I saw it. My last round, I bricked on opening up 3 of these, cross out and call by, and I was just like going first against a Cashier matchup. I was like, oh, I win. Look at my open hand, no 1-card starter. I was like...
Trust me, I was a little bit upset about that too, but it was okay.
3 copies of Ash Blossom because my buddy Ron plays Despia fairly well, but it's hard to play well without Brain Diffusion.
It's hard to play past that card. I hate it.
Then I played 3 copies of the most budget effect mailers you could ever see in your life. Thanks, Mike. Just more copies of Imperm. And my train of thought was this was hitting Unicorn, which is usually just a really good matchup. Overall, I saw way too much of it, and I probably would have rather played something else in that place. But that's only because of my deck. The majority of it is hand traps, and you would think I would see them, that never did.
You seen them when you seen them, and then when you didn't need them, you didn't need them.
For the extra deck, I played the one Lingaribo. This is Adagnister's card. Other decks need to leave it alone, not for your deck. Then I played 2 copies of DeBaby Adagnister because all he says is "Let's go." He searches the field spell, and then you just can go off on just the field spell. I play around so much with it, and sometimes when I open it, I'll normal summon instead of activating it and doing the better play. I'll see if I can bait an Ash or an Imperm, and if they Imperm it and I have it in hand, I'm like, 3 win. Then I play 1 Update Jammer and 2 Splash Maids for all my Link 2s. A couple of instances I'd rather have another Link 2 like Security Dragon, but every time someone rips something from my extra deck, never even considered this card, and this is always probably the best rip in this extra deck. And this card is cracked.
Yeah, so what do you think you'll do to Update Jammer? Probably bump it up to 2 just for the cash matchup?
No, I'm probably not going to play this deck again.
Oh, probably. But it was a good strategy going into the YCS.
Yeah, my train of thought was, in a 3v3, I was in the middle spot. So I thought that if I played a simple deck that you just sit on a Towers Turbo, I could help out my opponents. I wouldn't need to put much thought into this deck. And for the most part, I was right. But I just wish, I would have opened up more hand traps to help make it a bit better.
Right.
For Link 3s, I played 2 Transcode Talkers and 1 Dark Templar Adagnister. Transcode Talker is pretty self-explanatory. I played 2 because if I know my opponent has Nib or I'm suspected, usually I can make Transcode Talker summon out Splash Mage with another name on board, and they won't immediately Nib, and I can Link 3 and make a 3k arrival, and sometimes that's just good enough. And this card is cracked. It has a Soul Charge effect that summons back 3. It also has an effect that if it destroys a monster by battle, you can summon out 1 from the graveyard. And then the other effect that summons out 3 is not, it specifies that you can do it during the damage step. So every time I got Nib, I always made sure I tried to add the Monster Reborn. And someone summoned out the Nib, and their Nib in defense position, it's got 600 defense. So I had to kill it by battle, use the second effect, bring back 1 monster. That 1 monster summoned out 3 more monsters. And it's like, okay, arrival. They're like,
yeah, you were well expecting of the Nib, so that was like your backup plan, just to kind of like suspect, hey, I'm about to get Nib, but then I can actually still make the Towers.
Towers Turbo goes hard. I played 2 access codes. You just need 2. You can make 1 access code at 53 attack unaffected, but if you push for lethal and you don't quite get it, and they out your access code, you just need the second one, or else you cannot push for game and the deck is bad.
Understand.
But 2 of it was awesome. Then 2 Arrival. I was not having 1 ripped from my extra deck. This is the namesake of the deck, and this is why people hate playing against this deck, because it is fun and interactive. I just sit on 1 big monster that occasionally pops a creature, make a token, but usually when this card summoned with over 4,000 attack, I just saw my opponent go next game.
Yeah, I think he understands the game state at that point.
Yeah, you know what it is. I know what it is. We all know what it is.
Yeah, sometimes I scoop to the card too.
Arrival just for the last 2 cards are trash, garbage cards. Have really good effects. Never made them once, but they always got revealed for my Rhoda to summon.
Right.
One time I made this to draw a card before I made Arrival, which was really cool considering it drew into another Ycs. I was like, wow, I played 23 hand traps. Didn't see any of them.
You paid 1,000 just to get another name that you didn't need.
Yeah, the non-target destruction for this comes up. Not today though.
Well, I mean, I understand the extra deck, but anything in the main deck that you wanted to change, pretty much.
Yeah. I want to not play it.
Just not played at all. That's understandable, man.
It was in concept was a good idea. In practice, you just lose. Like mathematically speaking, there is an impossible odd. Like it is so improbable that you don't see a 1-card combo in this deck. But golly, does it come up a lot?
That's good. Well, what you got in the side deck then?
I got 3 Lightning Storms and 3 Evenly Matched. Labyrinth is a real deck, and I respect it. Also, these cards are just generically really good. I saw them once against like an Adventure, Despia, Therion, like crazy madhouse deck. But he bricked out of his mind. So he made his like full board with no Regulus. And he had token on field. And I was just like, that's a shame, buddy. That's a shame. Did you know tokens can't be managed face down?
Yeah, that poor guy, man.
And he looked at me, he's like, really? And then I played 1 Nightmare Corruptor Ibly. It's really good in my deck. I can hand it to my opponent multiple times with Splash Mage. It protects me from being nibbed and impermed, which is... plus, it has a really good on-summon effect. It summons any Link monster from the graveyard to a zone it points to. Where's it at? Any Link monster?
Yep, so it's just Reborn Towers.
Could be anything. It doesn't come back with attack. However, this card is a 1-card access code, like on follow-up turns. I kind of regretted not playing 2 in the main deck. I was between that, but I couldn't find the second one.
Yeah, I understand just the 1 because you can actually search for it with Signet Mining, pretty much.
But I want it now. I played 3 Droll. My train of thought with playing Droll, this card was crazy. I wish I main decked it instead of Valor. This card was nuts.
Yeah.
No one's really thinking about this as a real option. And my train of thought was any deck that can out a rival cannot out it without searching a lot. I was thinking like Dragon Link, Drytron, just any of those decks that can out it, not a Droll.
Yeah, pretty much it hurts my deck too, but it's like you have to really play around it. It's really hard to play around it, but at the same time, Despia is a real deck too now.
And I played the 1-of Triple Tactics Thrust. I needed 1 card in my side deck, and I was like, hey, this 1 card in my side deck is every card. So I just threw the 1 card in. YOLO, my dude.
Yep, it came up once.
It did, in fact, come up once or twice. It might come up twice. And I played 2 Dimensional Barriers for going first. If I saw it, I saw it. If not, like it felt like overkill for my matchup, but who doesn't like bringing out a flamethrower, you know?
Yeah.
Then I played 1 Dark Hole and 1 Dark Ruler to go with the 1-of copy of Thrust. I'm a huge fan of this card. And Dark Ruler, I was just like, why not?
Yeah, you kind of got me on a train for Dark Hole. In weird matches, it brings up for me, but at the same time, Dark Hole, what can you really do?
I really regretted not playing 2 Dark Holes. I probably would have preferred 2 Dark Holes to Dark Ruler. But like I was just like, what if I go against a Sprite board?
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, Dark Hole's pretty good against that.
Pretty much.
But yeah, that was the list. It was 40 cards because, yeah, I'm not going to play over 40 cards in this kind of deck. I also probably shouldn't play this deck. This deck was, in theory, it was great. And if I ever did it, I was unbeaten.
Yeah.
However, I had like weird matchups that just oddly enough could out my Arrival. And I was just like, huh. And then bricked out of my mind one game. It was crazy.
Yeah, but like you said, going into the YCS, you did have a plan. It was a really good plan going into the YCS as well.
The theory was solid. I'm ready for this format to progress a little bit, and especially Ancient Fairy to come off the list so I can play a better deck. If anyone watches the channel, you know what deck I'm good with. But yeah, I mean, it performed really well, and I'm not mad I took it. I'm just mad at myself for not playing better.
All right. Well, any other shout-outs you have, or any things that you have about the deck that you really want to talk about?
Yeah, shout out to my locals at Knighthood Games in Cookville, to Tim and Matt for coming out and helping me, for Ian for helping me theory over Discord. And shout out to Mike at Tier 1 Gaming and the rest of the team at Tier 1 Gaming. They're all huge help, especially Ron for nibbing me so much.
I had to show you it was a real card, man.
I'd rather you didn't, but I am glad you did.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Rhett, for the deck profile. All right.